Oh man, these are wild days. What's up, peeps? Hope we're all doing well, enjoying your morning so far. Maybe have some liquids in you, all right? Coffee, water, maybe some buffed using code LUCKY, our most recent sponsor. But that's really not important considering the fact what we're talking about today is a brand new Twitch update around their sexual content policy, which has been going viral over the past many weeks. And I'm sure you guys, if you know what Twitch is, you probably know exactly what I'm referencing, as a slew of bans have been going around to some particular streamers out there who have been seemingly nude while streaming and showing off party tricks. If this is not ringing a bell, like I can't really show you guys the clips. I can try and show you the screenshots to maybe allude to what I'm talking about, and all of this going viral. We are talking about millions and millions of views out there, causing Twitch to now respond with an update that I'm not really sure what side I fall on. So we're going to read through it together and see exactly what they changed, as they have now consolidated a couple of their policies together and re-referenced what they launched a while ago, being content classification labels, which are going to play an important role moving forward. They say, "We believe that accurate content labeling is key to helping viewers get the experience they expect, and now that we can enable appropriate labeling of sexual content using CCLs, we believe that some of the restrictions in our former policies are no longer required." Pretty much saying that, hey, moving forward, we're going to require people to use these content labels, and they believe they can avoid some of the controversy as long as people are properly labeling their content, which means if it's properly labeled, they're going to enable you to do some things that maybe you could not do before. But I will say, one of the bigger W's of this announcement is now the content recommendations for the homepage. If you guys have been checking out Twitch for the past few months, I've noticed this. Many other people have noticed this. A lot of the recommendations in the home tab on Twitch have been these particular streamers where their content is pretty clearly sexual. All right, there's no other way to put it. It's very clear what they're trying to do, maybe the audience they're trying to draw in, whether it's through the thumbnail that you see in the preview screen or just their content in general. It is very clear that this content probably should not be on the homepage, and no longer, apparently, will it be. We also recognize that not all members of the community want to see certain content, even if it is properly labeled with a content classification label. When a CCL is applied, viewers must provide explicit consent before they start watching the stream. However, if labeled streams are shown on the Twitch homepage, viewers may still see content in stream thumbnails that makes them uncomfortable. We want to make sure the homepage, which is often first page that viewers land on, is more aligned with viewer expectations. To address this, we're updating the criteria used for homepage recommendations. Streams that are labeled as including drugs, intoxication, tobacco use, violence and graphic depictions, gambling, and/or sexual themes will no longer be included in the homepage recommendations. Long story short, if the streamers are actually properly labeling their content, and the Tata streamers, those are the ones that have been going viral. I'm sorry, there's no other way to word it. That is literally what their content is. If they actually properly label their content, they will no longer be recommended to the masses on the homepage. That's actually a pretty solid update. I got to give them credit where it's due. But, you know, when people see all these things going on, it's easy to poke holes in some of these updates. So that's actually great. It's similar to what Kick has done, and Kick has similar issues with this kind of content. Let's not forget that, guys. All of these platforms are struggling with this kind of content, and they have a toggle. And so this is their version of saying, hey, you're not going to see these kind of streamers. We'll see if they actually properly label themselves as sexually themed, so they're not on their homepage recommendations. But Twitch is saying we're no longer going to recommend these kind of streams in mass like we used to. So that's pretty cool. Now, beyond that, though, this update was very interesting because Twitch is now allowing things that were previously prohibited because of the labels. And there's a bit of confusion there with the former policies, but they're pretty much blanket saying now a lot of things are allowed as long as you label it as sexual themed, you know? As they say, some types of content which were prohibited before will now be allowed on Twitch if they're appropriately labeled. This includes previously prohibited but now allowed with a label, content that deliberately highlights the breast, buttocks, or pelvic region even when fully clothed. Streamers found it difficult to determine what was prohibited and what was allowed, and often evaluating whether or not a stream violated this portion of the policy was subjective. In addition, the former sexually suggestive content policy was out of line with industry standards and resulted in female presenting streamers being disproportionately penalized. I'm not even exactly sure what that means, but I think we have all seen the slew of Twitch streamers who are riding that line of this content getting banned and being welcomed back one day later. And there are several streamers out there who have been banned a handful of times in less than a handful of months. And the excessive bans, they don't exist. They're still only banned for one day, and they go right back to doing what they did before. You can now also have fictionalized drawings, animations, or sculptures of people exposing breasts and or genitals. So that's something. And then the classic body writing on female presenting breasts and or buttocks, regardless of gender. This already allows body art on the breasts and buttocks. So this change makes these policies more consistent. And the big one, erotic dancing that involves disrobing or disrobing gestures, such as strip teases, is now allowed with a label. You can now strip tease on Twitch as long as you label it. That's pretty... It gets better, by the way, as now popular dances such as twerking, grinding, and pole dancing are also allowed without a label. Previously, some dances were prohibited and others were allowed with a label. Enforcing on dances regardless of context meant our policy prohibited twerking at a wedding or taking a pole dance exercising class, for example. This policy now takes context into consideration and only prohibits streaming inside of an adult entertainment establishment. So you can now twerk, grind, and pole dance without the label. And I don't even know how to react to this. There was some other stuff about in-game nudity. It seems pretty solid. As long as the core focus of the game is not the nudity, you should be fine. And if it is the core focus, it's not allowed. So it seems like a pretty clear line there as we see, naked skin models running around Rust or whatever game you play. It should be okay within reason. And we have a lot of streamers having a lot of thoughts on this one. Aspen Gold saying overall it's a pretty big W, but also saying Twitch was never a safe space. And many others giving their reactions. For me, I just don't even know how to feel about the future of streaming, whether it's Twitch or Kick or YouTube. It seems like a lot of these sites, and now Twitch has led the way in a lot of these regards, have no idea how to properly respond to this content or to put a stop to this content, which does draw in a large chunk of viewership. And it's like, whether you can toggle it or not on Kick, whether you properly label it or not on Twitch, it seems like from here on out, and maybe this is just me, like this is not going to stop at all. And what I do see being an issue is people are going to keep on writing these lines of, are they going to properly label themselves? How far can they stretch this artistic nudity or these fictionalized things or these strip teases, or all of these things have such hairy lines that can be stretched even further and further. And I feel like we're going to keep on seeing crazy stuff. So this Twitch update is crazy. How are you guys doing though? Do you still feel sane on the internet in 2023? Wait till next year. I feel like it's going to get better. As always, hope you guys all enjoy. What do you think about this? Where do you think the future of streaming is going to go after this? Till then, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you back here soon.